Could you all go to the Padlet, please? The link that I put on this front slide. Please go to the Padlet and let us go on ahead and answer this real quick question. Tell me one thing that you learned about the Incas. I want to put all of these on a Padlet so that you can share with each other and have a little bit of help when you're taking your quiz. So let's go on ahead and share some on the Padlet, guys. If you're having trouble getting in, let me know. But the Padlet is open for you. And if you haven't used the Padlet before, what you do is you double click on any of the white space, and it'll let you post a little blip on the Padlet. Still recovering from your Monday night anxiety. Yeah, I know, Allie. I can imagine. I suffer from anxiety myself. I know how that goes. So let's get some stuff posted on the Padlet, please, ladies and gentlemen. I'm looking at it and I'm not seeing anything yet. Yes, I saw that you posted really early, Allie, and I appreciated that. Yes, Lena, we're gonna actually watch a couple of real quick videos today about the child sacrifices, so we're gonna learn a little bit more about that. Mama Kia, the protector of the married women. Thank Stephanie, very good, thank you. And Alyssa, the Roman Catholics would use the Quechua language in order to spread Catholicism. That is correct. And the Incas would use the Quechua language in order to spread their culture as well. So language was a very important feature of the Incan culture. Braden, largest empire in the Western Hemisphere. That's correct. All right, let's keep the chat to a minimum on some of the personal things you guys are feeling. You can have that chat on text or outside of the class. I just like to get you guys focused on the Padlet, please, for just a few more minutes, and we're gonna get working on the lessons, okay? But I do feel for y'all. No problem, Allie. Not a problem at all. Let's just get working. Okay. Did everybody that wants to post? All right, I've got a few posts, but I'd like to see a few more. So if you can write down that link, add some more to it. Okay. All right. Very good. Let's see. Who wants to be my volunteer to read the slide today? Just raise your hand real quick. First one to raise their hand the gets to read. The llama in this is really cute with the two kids and how many of y'all wear a little beanie like what he's wearing with the knit? Those were very popular for a while. I don't know if they still are or not, but they were really popular. Look at all the chickens. Mhm. And then there's a goat. I don't know what they're called, but there's a name for them and I don't know what they are called, but they have the little things that dangle down. They're really cool. All right. So expectations. You're going to identify the physical and political boundaries of South America and describe the significance of ancient Incan culture. And you are going to use simple and complex sentences to write about the Incas today because we are going to have our October writing assignment starting today. Don't forget, yes, you had fall break on Monday. A lot of you guys need a vacation from your vacation. That's the way I always feel. Tuesday, we did the 4.04 and 4.05 lessons, and by tomorrow, I need the 4.04, 4.05 quiz completed, please. All right. Your vision to inspire the academic and personal growth of our students across the state of Texas. Our mission is to inspire growth in every student through personalized learning and meaningful student connections. And our values are persistence, compassion, and connection. Let's not forget those. Just some reminders. Check your grade book. Make sure that your Unit 3 test has been completed. I'm going to send out those links again for recovery. If you're missing anything from the Units 1, 2, or 3 tests, I'm going to send out some recovery questions for you, and that will help you get those uh, test grades raised. 4.02, 4.03 quiz, make sure that's done. 4.04, 4.05 quiz, make sure that's done. And starting today, you're going to be working on your October writing prompt, and we'll get that link to you at the end of today's class. Remember that your gating date is November 1st. That means everything for your teacher graded assignments needs to be completed. That includes Unit 1, Part 2, Unit 2, Part 2, and the September writing assignment. And don't forget when you see Captain America's shield, that means that's something you need to know for the test. Okay, can someone read this slide for me? Vincent, would you mind reading it?
The Inca, right? And did I say that right? Hello? Can y'all hear me? Okay. Between 1200 and 1535 AD, the
Is your mic
Inca,
working, Vincent?
yes, hmm,
Uh-huh. Sorry about that. Okay. All right. So let's see. Did we read that slide? Okay. 1200 to 1535. So that's about 335 years of, or so they were living in South America, extending from the equator to the Pacific coast of Chile. Unlike the Mayans of Central America, the Incans and their legacy is very much widespread throughout many parts of South America. So, one of the big differences between Central American and South American indigenous cultures is that in Central America, the Mayan were very concentrated there in Guatemala, southern Mexico, Belize, and Honduras. Whereas here in South America, you had something that stretched thousands of miles going down the west coast and the Andes, and they lived in the mountains. All right. The Quechua language. Can somebody read for me the Quechua language? And it is pronounced Quechua. Somebody want to volunteer?
can you hear me?
I can. All right, we're good.
All right. Uh, the Inca were a nation that loved to conquer other nations. They imposed their language on every tribe they conquered. This continuous quest for domi- domin- hold up, domination,
Yeah.
sorry,
That's
and the continuous spread of their language Cueca.
Quechua.
uh, What?
It's Quechua.
Quechua is why it is believed that the Inca culture has survived to this day. The Roman Catholics would eventually use the Quechua language to preach Christianity, spreading the language through the Andes. Main object of worship in Quechua religion is the sun and had many gods that they worship.
Okay. Um, how important is language in telling this particular story about the Incas? How important is language in terms of the preservation of this culture? Quechua, yes. In the terms of the preservation of this culture, in terms of the spread of this culture, and in terms of converting them to Christianity. How important was this language? Anybody want to contribute here? How important was the language? Keeps the culture alive. Very good, Allie. That's exactly right. Because of the language and the fact that pockets of the language remained, today you still have pockets of this language and you have people who still speak this as their primary language, guys. 500 years later. So, very, very important. All right. Before I go into the gods real quick, I want to play a couple of videos for you. So I'm going to play one from the National Geographic and one from the Smithsonian. The first one is from the Smithsonian. Okay, does everybody wanna meet the sun, virgin, the virgin of the sun? Because they actually have her body, her mummy, and, so I want to introduce you to her. As weird as that sounds, it is true. Whoops, let's meet her. Remember that this sacrifice happened between 5 and 600 years ago, guys, which is amazing that they have this body, and it was because it was in the mountains, in a cave under ice. So, I don't know if you guys realized how they know about these sacrifices, but that's how. And it wasn't just boys, I mean, it wasn't just girls, boys were sacrificed too in different sacrifices. This one of the Doncella was probably the most of the sacred sacrifices. Um, they would sacrifice about 100 kids a year. And these were not, this isn't something like, "Oh, I just wanna kill something." This was something that was important to them, very sacred to them, very precious to them. Um, we don't share that same we don't share that same cultural attitude towards sacrifice, thank goodness, but it's important to understand their, their view of religion and of, culture. Okay, so you had 4 main gods. Viracocha was the teacher of the world. After the great flood covered even the highest mountains and destroyed all life, Viracocha molded new people out of clay at Tiahuanaco, which is a very tall mountain and volcano. The Inti is the sun god. The Inti's image is a golden disk with a human face surrounded by bright rays. Every day, the Inti soars across the sky to the western horizon and plunges into the sea, just to come back up again from under the ground in the east and start the whole trick again. Mama Kia is the goddess of the moon, proctor of married women, and her image is a silver disk with a human face. And then the Supai is the god of death, a god of insatiable greed. The Incas sacrificed 100 children a year to Supai, and still he would not leave them alone. And that was the sacrificial ceremonial knife used for the sacrifices that you can see there. Now, what'd they say about the doncella's feathers? What was interesting about the feathers? They said something about the feathered hat that she was wearing, which was in remarkably good condition, and what did they say about that? It was more valuable than gold. What does that say about the value of gold to them? Now, the conquistadors saw gold from a completely different perspective than did the Incas, right? There's a lot of gold, and they're very skilled at working with gold and jade and silver, but the conquistadors value gold for its economic value, and for them, it was a decoration. It was simply something that you used for a decoration. Okay, and the feathers were more valuable to them than the gold. Machu Picchu is the lost city of the Incas. It's located in Peru in the high in the Andes. It was occupied from the 1400s to the 1500s for about a century. And the people disappeared just as quickly as they came. But what was important about Machu Picchu is that it was never touched by the Spanish invaders. Okay. All right, Nick. I don't know if I really like that joke. That's not quite, I don't get it. Okay. Terrace farming. We know that now terrace farming is a part of a sustainable farming program, but back then terrace farming was their culture. They used it in order to be able to maximize their land and their crops. And they used stepped man-made lands along angled slopes to cultivate level ground farming. And it was implemented by the Incas using the slopes of the Andes. I can appreciate that he's unhappy with his relationship, Zach. Okay, today, much of the Incan culture has remained in parts of South America, specifically in rural Peruvian villages. When the Incas used to take over various tribes, they would force their culture and this Quechua language on them. And then the Spanish used that very same language to spread Spanish culture and particularly Catholicism. And by the 1500s, there were still many pockets of Incan culture that remained, and they do so today. And the people of Peru still speak that Quechua language. So when you're talking about the preservation of the Incan culture, and you're talking about cultural diffusion and cultural assimilation, um, this was something that uh, is very much based on language, that Quechua language. And because of the spread of that language, the the traditions of the Inca remain today. Okay, everybody understand the importance of the Quechua language. All right, very good. So, if you want more facts about the Incas, there is a link. I'll just put it in the chat. There you go. Um, that is a link to a few more fun facts about the Incas. All right. Okay. Quick question, and then we're going to get to the writing prompt. What is the minimum number of sentences that you need to write in order to get credit for the October writing assignment? What is the minimum number of sentences? Let me put the poll up. Minimum number of sentences. Well, you guys know your stuff. It is 5. Your writing sample should be 5 sentences in length. So are we ready to get to the prompt? Yes? Yes, everybody? Okay, here we go. So I want you to go to app.formative.com/join. NP6HTP is your code. Okay? Yes? So let's go there as a class and let's get started. Thank you, Nick. You're one ahead of me. Yes, you are. Okay, Nick. That's great. I appreciate your help. All right, ladies and gentlemen, can we get started on posting to the writing prompt? Let me know when you guys are in. And can someone read the prompt for me? Remember, you're writing about something that happened in the past. That's a big hint, and that's about as much as I can do to help. I can see Blake is writing. Caleb, thank you for writing. Lena, I can see you're starting to write. Enrique, if you could get a little more than one word in there, that would be great. Very good. Madison, Leo, thank you. Emily, fantastic. Braden, I see you're writing. Thank you. Guys, remember if after you guys go in today, do me a favor and make sure that in order to go in and post to the Go Formative, that you go through the link in the online classroom, and the reason for that is it tells me when you have gone in and attempted the writing so that I don't lose track of you. If for some reason you don't get credit for your writing and you know you did it, and I tell you, hey, I don't see your writing, would you please email me back and let me know? Because sometimes it can fall between the cracks, especially if you go straight to the link instead of using the link in the online classroom. Everything you do today will get in there, no problem. But in the after today, it's a little harder for me to track the posts. So I'd really appreciate it if you guys could do that for me. Thank you. Nick, I have no idea why you posted that. I'm not even gonna ask. Remember, this is something that already happened. That's a big hint. This is something that already happened, and that should frame the way that you write. Thank you for contributing, Nick. Remember, if you don't get finished today, look in the course for the link, and that will take you to where you need to be. Thank you, Raina, for getting it done. I appreciate that. I'll be grading this afternoon and tomorrow. So give me about 24 to 48 hours. By Friday, you should have grades in for what you do today. Thank you, Caleb. I appreciate that. Clap, clap, Allie. You are free to go when you are done. I'll be ending the class session in 4 minutes anyway. You guys have a great afternoon. Goodbye, Zach. Nick, have a good one, okay? And I will try to have a good day. Try. All right, everybody. I'm going to end the session, and I want y'all to have a really good afternoon. I'll see you next week on Monday. If you need anything, email me or call me. You guys have a great one, okay?